Hi everybody, how you doing? So today's video is just really a follow-up to a video I made about 18 months ago when I first got this guitar. It's an Epiphone inspired by Gibson J45. So basically the kind of budget or affordable version of Gibson's classic singer-songwriter guitar. Pretty much a straight copy. You know, some of the woods won't be quite as high quality, etc. And you know, slightly different headstock angle, and it's, you know, it's clearly an Epiphone, but and you know, obviously the finish is a bit different as well, but it looks and it sounds pretty close to one, having played both. And this wasn't, you know, £2,500–3,000 either, which is always a bonus. So I got this in Guitar in Edinburgh. I believe I traded in a Telecaster towards it, because at the time, as I still am, I was doing lots of acoustic gigs and I needed a backup to my Taylor. And this actually started to replace my Taylor as my main guitar, because my Taylor was getting a bit old and battered. There's a previous video about that as well. So I wanted to go for either this or the Hummingbird. They didn't have one in at the right price. But this was an X demo and it was a bit cheaper. So I got this one. I think it was around £400, something like that. I'll have to look up the email, but something like that. Anyway, but I got a chance to go in and try it, and before I bought it, which was always a good thing. And I liked the feel of the neck, and I liked how it sounded. It was quite punchy and mid-rangey, which kind of suited my voice. It wasn't overpowering. I had an Alvarez. You'll see a video about that, which was a lovely sounding guitar, but it had a very wide range to it. So it could be when you're in a room with it, it could be a bit. Overwhelming is the wrong word, but it took up a lot of frequencies, whereas this doesn't. It just kind of punches through the middle and smacks you in the face, which is a good thing. So, so I've been gigging with this ever since, pretty much every week, sometimes multiple times a week, so for the last 18 months. And I thought I would just do a quick video to show you how it's lasted, or, you know, how I feel about it now. Do I regret it? Am I pleased with it? All those kind of things. I think it's important to show the longevity of guitars as well, especially for working musicians. So, you know, if you buy a guitar, you can buy a guitar and, you know, down to a Glary or a Donner, or, you know, something really, really cheap, £79–89, something like that, and play it in your bedroom once a month. That will last you years. But it's when you go out and gig, or you go to rehearsals, or you lead worship in a church, or you do anything regularly, or you teach, that's when you see just how durable a guitar is, because it has to put up with you know, lots of playing and the rigors of travel and all the rest of it. And also when you gig, you guys that do this will know this, once you get into playing, you tend to, hopefully, if it's a good guitar, you'll forget about the guitar and you'll just be playing, you'll be doing what you do. You won't be thinking about the guitar so much, so you won't be kind of, you know, kind of looking at it and kind of messing about and trying different things, because you just have to play the songs that you're there to play. And so that's been one of the things about this guitar, has been that I haven't really had to think about it as I've been playing, as I've been gigging. Now, there was an exception to that. When I very first got it, I had a few issues. So just to recap on those, there's a video about that as well. You can go and check all those out and bump up my views. But basically, there was an issue with the saddle on this one. It had been fitted so tight, it was ridiculous. I mean, you could have hung a 747 off it and it wouldn't have come out. And what had happened was the Fishman kind of piezo pickup underneath, you know, the ribbony part, the pickup part, had just been squished, or what, you know, something had happened to it. Maybe it was upside down, I can't remember. But it just sounded weird. It sounded woofy and out of phase and just odd, and it was cutting out and giving me problems. So I took it back to Guitar, and they sorted it as I walked in. You know, and Bob the tech there in Edinburgh, who's excellent, just kind of took it downstairs, fiddled with it, and let me know that the saddle had been ridiculously difficult to kind of get off. So he'd kind of shaped it for me and put it all back in. And then, you know, went out, did some more gigs with it, and it was great. But I just didn't quite like the sound of the Fisherman. It just was it didn't do the guitar justice. So I took that out completely. Now that the saddle was easy to take out, it was a fairly straightforward operation. And I put in the Rare Earth humbucker. Now I've got a Rare Earth single coil in my Taylor that's been there for about 20 odd years, and that's been pretty faithful. That's quite a hot pickup. This is a lot mellower, and it's a lot less noisy, because that was always an issue I'd had with the single coil. I'm pointing behind me because my Taylor's sitting on the rack there. So if I played a theatre or somewhere like that with lights, I'd get lots of noise through the Fishman. But this one doesn't do that because it's a humbucker, and it's obviously a newer one, so battery life is like 300 hours or something daft like that. So that's been really good, and it's easy to dial in a noisy pub, because if you ever play in pubs, you know that you can't just have a nice sound check in there often unless you get there before it opens, because you've got people in there, they're kind of laughing and joking and shouting and having conversations and doing what people do in pubs, and then often you've maybe got the football on the TV behind, or you've got unless you go into a Wetherspoons, which don't have music anyway. That's a pub in the UK for you guys that don't know. Most pubs have music blaring, you know, before and after you've been on. So you can't just sit and have a nice sound check and say, you just have to kind of guess with experience and then kind of tweak it as you go. So this is a really easy, it's not the best sounding pickup in the world, it's not the most authentic, but it's the easiest to dial in quickly. And minimal feedback as well. This pickup doesn't feed back as easily as, well, the guitar doesn't feed back as easily as it did with the piezo in it, with the other Fishman, the under the saddle thingy. So there was that issue. I got that sorted out. The only other issues I've had with it, and this is just down to my laziness and I'll get it sorted out. The B string, you can hear that kind of sitaring a little bit if I pluck it hard. I need to get the nut slot sorted out, but that'll just take a tweak. But I just haven't got around to doing it yet. That's all, because I've just been, you know, gigging and playing and being busy and all that kind of stuff. But that's an easy fix. I will get that sorted. And the issue that's come up over time, although it hasn't affected the guitar playability wise yet, but it will, is and I'll do a close-up shot on this, is I got fret wear really quite quickly. So after a few months of playing, the areas that I tend to play around, obviously I've got all the, because I'm playing acoustic covers a lot, I'm playing G, C and D and all that kind of thing down here, so these first 3 frets. And I also, to suit my voice, I play a lot of stuff. So if I'm doing, for example, a song like Here I Go Again or something like that, you know, I'm kind of up on the capo 3rd fret doing D shapes to put it into F, because that just drops it down enough for me to get all those high David Coverdale bits, because I'm not David Coverdale, unfortunately, otherwise I'd be very, very rich and living in Lake Tahoe, but I'm not. I'm poor and I live in Scotland. But so I drop things down. I kind of play. So I play either here or around the 5th fret with the capo on. Occasionally a little bit higher as well for other songs that require it. So you can see the marks of, because I'm playing 2-3 hour gigs, you know, and often the same songs or the same core songs and then a few extras. And even when I'm playing my own stuff, I'm around the same area because vocally. So you can get the wear, and I think it's just down to soft fret wire. That's pretty much all it is. Now, as I say, it's not too bad. It's not affected. I'm not hearing, because my Taylor has serious fret wear because it's been played constantly for 20 odd years, and you can hear when you're playing it on certain notes. There's a pingy thing that happens. It just kind of pings, and you can kind of feel it a little bit, and that needs to get done. This hasn't got to that stage yet. It's cosmetic, really. I can see it, but I can't feel it or hear it. But that's it, really. Everything else, the bridge has stayed in place. It hasn't bellied up or anything. I was thinking that this might fall off because lots of people have been talking about that, and actually people have removed them to apparently get a better sound, but I don't know how true that is. Mine stayed on. It's been solid. You know, the finish has been solid as well. It's this kind of, they call it, I can't remember the proper name for it. You can look it up anyway. But Epiphone used this to kind of look like a bit like an aged Gibson nitro finish. It isn't nitro, but they kind of try and make it look a bit like that. And I think it's a really nice finish. And it's been fine. It's been solid because this has been battered and dinged. And I had a drunk German guy play it the other night at the end of the gig. It was very nice. You know, I don't usually let people play at gigs, but he was on holiday and he was a very nice guy. But he'd had quite a few pilsners, and but he could play. He was a good guitar player, so I let him have a little shot, whilst being very close, so he didn't drop it, and or run off with it. And you know, it survived all that, and it survived, you know, having my sweat going over it, you know, bi-weekly, for 2 or 3 hours at a time. not really any marks or dings or stuff. It needs a bit of a clean now because I've been gigging last night with it, in fact. But yeah, and the fretboard's in great condition. The fretboard's actually got a little bit, it seems to have got a bit darker. I don't know if my sweat's magic. Might be, you never know. I could market it, I can bottle it. So I just use F1 oil normally I think I've used it maybe twice on this since I've had it. And it's in really good nick, really good condition. The tuners have actually been fine. I was thinking of switching those to Grovers, because I've got Grovers on my Taylor. I just like them just nice and easy. But over time, these have kind of loosened up a little bit in a good way. You know, they're not kind of stiff, inconsistent turn that you sometimes get. And I really like the look of them. So I'm going to keep these on as long as these work. And then if one of them breaks, whatever, then I'll stick some Grovers in. But until then, there's no need, because it just adds to that kind of vintage aesthetic I like. And when I'm doing my own stuff, which is more kind of Americana, kind of roots rock kind of stuff, blues rock, it kind of suits that anyway, suits that look. So there you go. So I would recommend getting one of these. I know they've changed the factory. So this one, where was this made? I think this was an Indonesian one, if I've got that right. It doesn't actually say in there. I'll probably say it on the back. It's come off. Yeah, so I think this was the first run that was done in the Indonesian factory. Now they switched all the manufacturing to China. So I haven't played any of those ones. So I don't know what they're like. They might be better, might be worse, might be just the same. I don't know. But this first run is really good. So you see one of these, you can pick it up and, you know, get rid of the electronics in here, which was fairly easy. And, you know, fit a decent pickup. You can even fit another piezo, just a good one. And yeah. If you've had one of these, or the Hummingbird or the J200, any of the other models in the range, and you've had it for a while, drop a comment and let me know how you've got on with it. As I say, the best test of a guitar is not when it's out of the box. It's once there's two stages. Once it's settled into your house. So that's why guys like Phil McKnight will often have a guitar for, say, maybe a month before he does a review of it, because guitars like to settle. If they've been sat in a box and then in a warehouse and then in a ship, or, you know, because even American guitars, because I'm in the UK, so American guitars or import guitars, they've had to travel, you know, Canadian guitars, etc., Mexican guitars, they're wood, so they need time to settle, and they need time to settle into your house or wherever you're using them, your studio, whatever. So there's that stage, and then there's the gigging stage where you're taking them out into the elements, into all kinds of different venues, different temperatures, different times of the year, in and out of cars, and you know, playing in front of often drunk people for hours on end. And that's the kind of test of a guitar, you know, with electrics as well. Acoustics, because they react more to the environment, but, you know, electrics, you'll soon find out if you've got a decent guitar or not, if it lasts the gig. And that's why, you know, and it doesn't have to be about price either, because, you know, plenty of people are out gigging with Squires and Harley Bentons and Epiphones, like the lower end Epiphone electrics and stuff, and you know, jet guitars especially. You know, Steve Cassidy, go check out his channel, Steve Cassidy Guitar. He gigs with a jet. I was watching another guy who I've just subscribed to, whose name I've completely forgotten, who bought a jet and then just went and, you know, gigged it for a few gigs before we reviewed it. And that's always a good thing, you know, because you get to know how good the guitars are. And this is a great guitar. It's fantastic. The neck is chunky, which is really comfortable for long gigs. I don't have big hands at all. I've got wee sausage fingers, and, you know, I don't really have guitar players' hands, unfortunately. But this neck is really comfortable. My Taylor neck's a lot thinner and a bit wider, and I find that more uncomfortable. You know, the guitar sounds nicer because it's an old Taylor, and it was from the period where they were still making them that turned into cannons when they got older, so it's a really beefy guitar, and it sounds lovely. But this one is more comfortable to play over a long period of time. I don't really think about it. I don't get hand strain or anything, so that's good. Okay, so that was just, I thought I'd make a video and an update of how we're getting on. So this is great. Of course, I would obviously love a Gibson J45 one day, just to have and compare. But for playing in pubs and doing the stuff that I do, something dropped behind me. That was weird. For playing in pubs and doing the stuff that I do, this is ideal. You know, it's great. Okay, so have a great rest of the week. Whenever you're watching this, weekend, whenever it is, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.